Thank you very much, and welcome to the Rock Prairie Summer Band's 2012 Summer Concert. We started this evening's program with the music from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. This was a movie back in the late 50s, early 60s, starring Dick Van Dyke, among others. And indeed, our next selection is Me Ol' Bamboo, which was also from the same movie, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Here it is, Me Ol' Bamboo. Doesn't matter as much in summertime. All right, here we go. Thank you very much. So it's summertime, ladies and gentlemen. Time to enjoy the warm, fine weather that is outside, and while we are inside here enjoying the nice air conditioning. Of course, last week we played down at Courthouse Park, and it was a lot of fun. And we're glad that you're here for tonight's concert. We do have a number tonight that we did not play last week. It's by Arthur Frackenpohl. It's coming up later on in the concert. Nonetheless, our next selection is called The Harlem Rag by Tom Turpin. Now, a bit of historical information. Nowadays, when we play ragtime, we often play it rather quickly, and indeed, our arrangement says quickly as the tempo marking. However, really, at the beginning of ragtime, back at the end of the 19th century into the 20th, rag pieces were played fairly slow. I mean, not too slow, but they did not burn up the road, if you will. They were played in a nice, stately fashion, partially because they were a mix of marches and syncopated dance music. So it comes from marching. And you sometimes you march fast, sure, like if you think of UW, like the marching band up there, yeah, they blaze sometimes. But this is a little more laid back. So here's our version of the Harlem Rag, Tom Turpin. Thank you. So our next selection is another favorite of Americana. Indeed, if you've seen the movie and you've seen the musical, which actually the movie was based from, starring Robert Preston, you know that the Music Man is really a part of the fabric of America, ultimately, being set, of course, in River City, Iowa, or is it Iowa? I suppose it depends on where you come from. Nonetheless, we have for you this evening selections from the Music Man. Thank you. Our next selection is by noted American composer Arthur Frackenpole. And indeed, when I was putting together the program this evening for this concert, I noticed that we played some Frackenpole 2 summers ago as well, which was the last time we had summer band. And indeed, Arthur Frackenpole is a well-known name in music composition circles in the United States and elsewhere. And this selection we have today, it's our serious selection, but really it is rather lighthearted looks at American folklore and American music. And I printed the movements for your convenience in the program, and there are 4 of them, so please hold your applause until after the entire piece is done. Nonetheless, these are tunes that have American sounds embedded in American culture. Here it is, Arthur Frackenpole's Folk Song Suite. Thank you very much. Our next selection, I quipped about last week. You know, when I was a young, budding teacher's assistant up in Madison, I helped out, a professor, of course, and did some work for him. And I noticed that he had scripted jokes, which is fine, and he taught like the same class 4 times in a day. So he'd tell the same joke like 4 times, And I feel a little bit like that tonight, but not really. And I forgot. Oh, yes, the 20s tune. That's our next selection. So our brass quintet, the one that I play in personally on the French horn, we have a tune called the Gay 90s Medley. Well, of course, we're not talking about the 1990s. We're talking about the 1890s. And indeed, when we talk about hits of the 20s, we're going to be, what? Oh, I had the wrong tune? Whoops. Sorry. No, I don't want to change it. All right, so the Beatles, they're old too, all right? 50 years. Can you believe it, actually? It's been about 50 years since the Beatles came on the scene. That's kind of mind-boggling. The Rolling Stones is a whole other matter, too, which I teach about in my History of Rock and Roll class, shameless plug. If you're interested, in January, I teach it during the three-week winterim. Say that fast 3 times. With that said, our next selection will indeed be the Lennon-McCartney portrait. What's interesting about this piece, see, I don't miss a beat. What's interesting about this piece is that it's arranged by Bill Holcomb, who is well known for his marching band arrangements. And indeed, this is early as well. 1973 is when this arrangement was made. And it has a marching band kind of sound to a certain extent, but it's not long after the tunes themselves were written. So it's kind of interesting from a historical perspective to hear this. Without further ado, I'll get my pieces right. The Lennon-McCartney portrait. Thank you. So I play in this brass quintet. Our next selection is hits from the 20s, or perhaps I should say are, but I'm going to leave that is. With that said, tunes in here include Am I Blue, Limehouse Blues, and also the Charleston. So here it is, hits from the 1920s. Thank you very much. Well, we've almost reached the end of our show, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to offer up some thank yous. First off, to Dean Carmen Wilson and her continued support of our programs here at UW-Rock County. Also to Carrie Hermanson and Nikki Sherney for handling our press. I'd like to thank Bill Murray for setting up our brand new sound system, ladies and gentlemen. So you are beneficiaries of this brand new setup here. Yes, indeed. So we'll get used to that as the coming years unfold. Also, I'd like to thank the members of the band. You know, they're here on their own time, and it's great to have them. It's a lot of fun to do this. So thanks a lot, band. Appreciate it. Hope to see you all next summer. And thank you for coming out. Thanks so much. We end this evening's concert with Semper Fidelis, Always Faithful. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next year.